Hey guys, welcome back to the Rift Podcast. We have come back from an extremely long break, we know, but we're back, and today we're going to cover the topic of finding out who you are and understanding who you are as a person. So, as Cab knows, we've collected. We went to a website actually. Let me pull it up, and it's called. Oh man, I can't even pronounce this. I'm gonna butcher this. It's shihoriobata.com.
That's a nice name.
Don't be mean. Anyway, these are 100 questions to ask yourself for self-growth. So these are questions that we want to cover just so that people can get more acquainted with who they are and kind of understand what kind of direction they want to take in their lives. So the first question is, let's see. What is the universe trying to tell me? That's a very deep question. What do you think about that, Ken?
I mean, it depends because some people don't believe in this concept of the universe is trying to tell me something.
Okay, whatever you may believe, whether it's like a religion, maybe a god, a universe, some otherworldly entity that controls the way the world works. Do you think that there's someone out there controlling or perhaps influencing what you're doing in your life?
Getting a bit religious, are we?
It doesn't have to be religious. It doesn't have to be.
Sometimes when I've just had enough of everything, I'm like, okay, someone else, maybe controlling it. Maybe it's all supposed to be part of a plan. Or maybe I'll put that on something more mundane, if you were to say, like, maybe on a person, right? Like my teacher, they're the one controlling how I do in this class. Not the case.
That's how the world works, essentially, right? It's just constant. It's a butterfly effect from every single person just living.
But in a way, I feel like it's just us putting the blame on someone else.
I can see that. But what about the things that you can't control?
Well,
it's easy to blame someone for things that you can't control, right?
I mean, I don't think we should be worrying about the things we can't control.
Interesting. So, so in your perspective, the way you live your life when there's something wrong, you don't exactly, or even something right, you don't think it's something else or someone else trying to tell you something. You just think it's your intuition convincing you of something that's happening. Kind of like your own self-awareness.
Most times, sure.
I can understand that because I agree with that. Obviously, I'm religious. Like, I believe in God, so I know he's up there influencing me. Well, that's my belief. But I also believe in self-awareness and intuition. So I know that there's also personal things that people understand. People do things to, incite their own reaction. So that's a question that we'll leave a little bit unanswered then. Okay. How can I express my love more to others, and can I express it in a better way? This is a little bit more of a personal question. Do you think you're a very expressive person when it comes to love in a general sense?
When I was younger, I would say definitely not. Like I was just very reserved. And I guess in a way that's just how my family is. Like we're so and so, but like it's there, right? So why do you need to go out of your way to do all these things? Or it's expressed in a different way than you'd otherwise see usually in like our Western culture, right? Like acts of service kind of thing.
Because it is, you're right. It is. It's personal. It's not something that you can just say, love is this way, love is that way. And I totally agree with that. Like the way I've interacted with my siblings and, loved ones since I was a little kid, it's like, it's always been different. But it's always been the way I do it, which is usually, I hope to be very intentional with everything I do. So can I express it in a better way? That's not really a question for me to answer, actually. I hope I'm doing well. I should talk to people who I love and see what they think. But it's an interesting question to think about for sure. It's so weird. Like, I guess that's something you can think about when you should think about how you express love, especially in a general sense. When you're even like just smiling at people, that is love, right? That's something, that's kindness. So I understand how that can be important for self-realization, I guess.
I don't think we ever think about this. Like all we think about is that person showing me enough love? Like are they doing enough for me?
See, I think a lot of people think that way, but a lot of people also think the other way. Because I think like this. So I try to express as much love as I can,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as like, let's say like I can go, say 10 days, right? 10 days is my entire life.
Okay.
Eight of the 10 days, I'm going ham, like just loving everyone, showing my love, expressing my feelings, everything like that. And then on the eighth day, I'd start questioning like, okay, I'm doing this, and that's kind of toxic. I don't like that I do that, but it's kind of a boundary where you're realizing that other people are not treating you the same way, because that just means you're expecting a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
right? What you should do in that situation, if anyone cares to hear this, you should ask the person how they feel comfortable sharing or expressing their feelings. And if that is not enough for you, you can communicate that, because it's only fair if you're in any type of relationship. It's only fair that you both get something out of it, right?
That's true.
But yeah, I think that something I've gotten better at is when people fail to reach that expectation you've set, or just if it's because obviously there's a standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're being nice to somebody and they're treating you like crap, that's a clear sign you should fix that relationship. But you should also try to understand where that person is in their life. If someone is really struggling, or they don't even know they're struggling, and they're going through stuff that they either are actively trying to solve or aren't solving, it's up to you to take a step back and let them do what they need to do. And you shouldn't hold them accountable for what they're doing, in the sense where you shouldn't guilt trip them, or kind of like, you shouldn't have to blame them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let them do their own thing. It's your job to give them space. So you go do your own thing. You don't have to wait for them. If you would like to, you can, but it's not your responsibility to do that, right? And they also have to be open to it. Maybe I went into this too much, but I think it's important that people know that, right?
No, that's interesting. I guess like we all kind of experienced that in our lives, where like there's
For sure.
one person that we'd want to give our love to and all that, or stay close to,
Right.
but they don't have that capacity to give it back.
Right. And I never thought about capacity. I always thought about like, because essentially, I'm not a scientist, but I think, or a psychologist, I should say. I'm pretty sure that the capacity for love you have is based on the capacity, like the love you received as a child. I think that has a large influence on it. And it never really occurred to me till the last couple of years that people are only capable of loving based on the love they seek, the love they want, and the love they've had. Right? I think that's all the love anyone can have anyway. But I think that's really interesting, because once you notice that, you tend to feel like you feel compassionate about people. Like you feel compassion for how they act, what they do, right? Like the other day, not the other day, a couple months ago, I was at school and I held the door for somebody, and they were really like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like they acted like that was the nicest thing anyone could ever do. And I realized that it's probably because maybe people don't really do that for that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that little action for her must have been like, wow, huge thing. That's a huge amount of love this person just expressed for me. But in my eyes, it's just like a simple act. Almost, it feels like it's like something I have to do, not in a bad way, but it's my job, my responsibility to care for people in that way. So it's really interesting that people have that kind of, I don't know, a limit, like a capacity. It's always environmental, right? That kind of area of thinking.
That's true. It's kind of scary about it too.
It's terrible. That's kind of what happened to me just now. I was kind of having like a panic. I was like thinking like, man, that's kind of sucky. Because like, yeah, because that's why I guess like people always say like love is so personal. You only you know how much love you can experience and will experience, because it's based on you, right? Anyway, speaking of which, the third question is, how can I express my love for myself? So self-love. You should know this. This is really trendy right now. Like self-love is like, this is the self-love generation. It is.
We really are. I don't know. Every time like those type of questions come, like all I think about is like, those like funny answers you give, like, just not doing work, taking a me day when you have something due the next day.
It's funny you say it's a funny answer. I think that's reasonable.
But my intentions aren't to actually be accurate with it, or like that isn't my actual answer.
But that's true.
Right. So it kind of shows how we take most things, or like loving ourselves as a joke. I don't know, at least personally.
You should do that. I don't know if that's a thing. You shouldn't. I feel like it's kind of good if you're struggling with it, because like obviously humoring. I don't know if I'm using that correctly, but humoring your situation when you're struggling actually really helps. I've heard. So if that's your way of coping and that works for you, sure. But as long as you're actually putting in the steps to take care of yourself. Like for me, self-care, I don't have a routine because I feel like that's just my lifestyle.
No, it's just whatever comes to my mind. Like, what do I feel
like?
Yeah.
That's how it should be, I think. I feel like it's like, obviously you have responsibilities you have to fulfill. So those should be kept in mind. But in terms of like self-love and making time for yourself, there shouldn't be a time limit, right? Unless it's like you're doing nothing like that. If that's what you want, go ahead. But if you're trying to pursue something, you're gonna have to take time for yourself and also for what you want to do and what you have to do.
There's also this line where it's like you have responsibilities now, and you don't always have the time to take for yourself or to do the things that you would want.
That's not true. I don't believe that. I don't believe that unless it's like a really extreme situation where people like go to school, come back, take care of their families, clean, cook, like everything for their families. Even then you can take, I think, 10 minutes of your day. Like before you go to bed, 5-10 minutes, and you just like maybe journal, maybe just think to yourself about your day. Like that is self-care. Really, like spending time on yourself in general, that is self-care. A form of it, at least. So I don't think
enough for some people. Like, how do you define? What if that's not enough for some people?
I don't think there's ever enough self-care you can do, because for every one good, like people always say, we live in a pretty balanced world of good and bad. I'd say it's run by a lot of bad people and beliefs, but there's never going to be enough self-love, in the sense where there's always going to be something else you have to overcome, right? And you can never love yourself more than the problems you're going to have, because your problems are going to affect you whether you like it or not, right? It's just how it is. And I think it's your job. I think it keeps people like accountable, because they're like constantly having to take care of themselves. It's like, okay, this is important. That's why I have to take care of it. So when people slack, they really feel the consequences of it. Like, let's say you don't sleep because you have to like study for exams, and you don't sleep for a week, and then your sleep schedule is screwed up, and you're late for work, you're late for school, you don't have the energy to do anything anymore. Who's suffering? It's you, right? And then you'll hear from a bunch of people, I hope so, that you need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to wake up early, you make sure you're on time for school. You're going to hear people nagging. If you have good people in your life, be thankful for those people, right? When people nag, I know it's annoying, but those people really care about you. So always be grateful for that. But yeah, I think allowing yourself to make sure you're like taking care of your responsibilities, but don't let your responsibilities overwhelm your time so that you have none for self-care. I think it's not ideal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, I'm gonna skip through. I don't want to ask all of them. When I was little, what did I want to be when I grew up? Okay, maybe not that question, but if you want to answer, you're welcome to.
I found that I started laughing because that question, I constantly change my mind throughout my childhood, and I'm extremely indecisive of what I want to become, what I want to do in the future. It just hasn't agreed with me. I can't stick with one idea.
And that's fine. I think especially in the modern world, like you're able to do so much stuff. You don't have to just stick to one thing. But
I guess that's also what's kind of scary, because I can go
for sure
anything. Why do I
can understand that for sure. Like for me, I really wanted to be an architectural engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was set on that. And then as soon as time came to go to university, like my brain is like, what if I could do more than that? And that little like that could be the simplest thought ever. But that thought just like completely like, I wouldn't say screwed up because it helped me a lot with a lot of different things, but it basically expanded my brain to the point where I'm trying to do so much now. So that indecisiveness, it might be a blessing in disguise if you can use it correctly.
Not using it correctly though.
And it's hard. It's a lifelong thing. But yeah, I believe in making the best of whatever you have, right? Making the best out of what you have. That's, better phrase that way. Ooh, favorite quote.
I don't have one. I have a bunch of quotes, just none that I would specifically resonate with.
I don't have a favorite either, but I have one on my lock screen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here, I don't know if you can read that.
No.
Well, wait, how do I do this properly?
Maybe just read the quote.
Yeah, I'll read the quote. I was trying really hard to show you. So it says, a life lived for art is never a life wasted. And I'm not even like an artsy person. I just found that it resonated with me a lot because I think that people spend so much time, I don't want to say messing around, but kind of just doing whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? People just spend time doing like whatever they want. And I think for me, I spent a lot of the beginning of my life doing that. But as soon as I set my mind on like art, like creating something that has influence on people and myself, where both parties enjoy it, like my life felt so much more fulfilling. Like I feel like I'm doing, like I told you, my routine, I told Cam this earlier, my routine is like so consistent. It's the same thing almost every day other than work stuff. And I never get tired of it. Never. My mom always like kind of nags. She's like, how do you do the same thing every day? How do you not get bored of your lifestyle? I said, I'm just in love with it. I love doing what I do, right? I love doing stuff like this, creating things that help people and help myself. Like it's a never ending passion for me. So I think, it's not my favorite quote out there. There's definitely good ones. And I struggle with having favorites. Like I like everything. So yeah, I think this is the most important one, or one that I live by, I guess. So yeah.
I'm currently looking through my whole Pinterest board of quotes.
Oh, did you find anything?
I have a few. Okay. They're a tiny bit depressing.
Okay. That's okay.
Right? Okay, one that I feel like a lot of people, especially going through like high school years or like high school and uni, can relate to is like one which is like, I exist too much, I feel too much, think too much, reality is crushing the life out of me. Right? A lot of people feel so held down by their expectations.
Mm. Was that in the meeting, by the way? That little clip of it? That's fine. Guys, we're on a Zoom recording, so there's just like a thing saying that we have 10 minutes left. So we're going to wrap up soon. So yeah, go ahead.
But I feel like a lot of people feel held down by all these expectations and all these, like the way that they believe their life should go, that it goes to the point where it's like everything is crushing them.
Interesting.
Right?
Today I was watching the Impulsive podcast, which is Logan Paul's podcast. And I think the guest was Olivia O'Brien. I think people are going to make fun of me maybe because I'm pretty sure she's really famous and I've heard her name before. But when I saw her, like I didn't recognize her. I don't know why. But she's talking about how she doesn't like music that is depressing or sad and it doesn't help. Oh wait, was that her or someone else? I don't know. Well, anyway, I heard something where it's like, the person, whoever said it, doesn't appreciate music where it's sad and it lets you sit with it. Oh, it was 24 Karat Golden. He's a musician.
Oh,
I hope I didn't screw his name. Yeah.
What's the name?
It was on the Impulsive podcast. Yes. I might have messed it up. I might have butchered it. But he said that...
Bruno Mars?
No, it wasn't Bruno Mars. Oh, no. The artist's name is 24 Karat Golden or 24K Golden.
I've never heard. Okay, come on.
Yeah, he made a song with Justin Bieber called Mood. It's a really popular song. And he said that he doesn't make music that lets people sit with their emotions in a negative way where they just like... I think the exact words he used was wallow. And I think it's really interesting because I think any art shouldn't let... I guess people appreciate being sad. I think for me, there's no point being sad if it doesn't lead to anything. Same thing. There's no point being happy if it doesn't lead to something. There's no point just feeling emotion if it has no range. What do you think about that? Because I feel like that could be controversial. Range is in like, what's the point of being happy right now? And not like, for me, it's not being able to share it, not being able to show it to give other people that happiness.
But what if it's just happiness for you?
I like that. Just happiness with me, and I'm just sitting with happiness. I feel like maybe that's me. I always feel like I need to do something with something.
Like you always have to give to other people.
It's not that. It's just when I have something, I would need to use it. Right? When I have, a pencil, like there's a pencil right in front of me and I want to write.
Yeah.
Right? When I have love to give, when I have, happiness to share, I want to share it because what's the point of holding it inside, if that makes sense? What's the point? Oh, no. What's the point just keeping my happiness to the point where I can't feel anything else? That's what I want to focus on because we're talking about sadness, right? What's the point of holding on to sadness and completely just like almost like... The problem with what I'm trying to cover is I want to say like pity. Like when a lot of times when I used to be sad, I used to pity myself. This is like way back, like when I was little, like 12, right? When I was sad, I used to just sit and listen to music and just made me more sad. But I think as I got older, I appreciated music that was sad, like slow music, but that had inspiring touches to it, that inspired me to look at the bright side, even though I was sad, feel my emotions, but have hope that things are going to get better. So I think that quote, I like it. I guess it's not mine to judge, but I think it would be even better if... I don't know. Is what I'm saying wrong? I don't know if it is. Because I feel like some people just appreciate just pure emotion and just being sad.
I think it's different for every person, and that's your personal opinion. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people may resonate with that too. Right.
I'm trying really hard to I don't know. I feel like that makes sense to me for other people to feel. For me, it doesn't make sense for me to feel.
For me, it does. For me, I will be happy just because I am happy, and I will find happiness in the most stressful and sad situations.
You feel happiness, you said, right?
I will find happiness.
That's different. See, now you're finding something, but you're what I was talking about was sitting with and just limiting yourself to that emotion. Because look at this. If you're really sad and you watch you just spend 6 hours watching sad movies, you're basically restricting yourself to that emotion. You want to feel sad. Or maybe that's your way of coping. It's really hard to tread, right? That's what I'm trying to understand something. That's why I'm saying this.
I don't understand why that is, but I understand the feeling and you wanting to stay in that feeling. But I never
why? What's that feeling? Yeah.
That's the thing.
See, that's what I want to... Yeah.
You're comfortable with. I'm comfortable feeling sad because I know that's how I can cope with it, right? I don't want to go and try and solve it.
Okay, so for you, it might be a lazy thing.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, I can understand that. When you don't have the energy to resolve something in the moment, so you use something else. Because I don't know if there's sad movies that don't have happy endings, right?
I love
probably.
Those movies.
Okay, so there are. So, I guess, maybe it's a coping thing to know that you're not alone in your emotion. Maybe other people are feeling that way. There's something else that can make you kind of validate that emotion.
I think validate. Yeah, I think
See, that's when another thing I want to pinpoint. Why do you need something else to validate you?
Because where else are you going to get that validation from? Sometimes
Yourself.
it's not enough just to have ourselves validate ourselves.
I understand. That's a fair thing to say. I think I agree with that. Because, yeah, you can't always... There's always a moment of weakness everyone has, right?
I mean,
I don't want to call it weakness, actually. I don't want to call that weakness. Because it's not... Well, it's not weakness. It's a moment of... When you lose energy, you just don't have the energy to do what you want to do or need to do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't think we can always sustain ourselves. Like, we need other people in our lives.
Self-care. That's a break. See, watching a movie when you're sad is self-care.
Okay, then. There we go.
It always comes back. Yeah, it comes back. Okay, I think we're going to end today's episode here. I hope this is a different style of video or podcasting that you guys enjoy.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to do a couple more like this. Yeah, let us know in the comments and on the Instagram, whatever. DM us any suggestions you have that you want us to cover. We'll try it out. And yeah, this has been Josh.
Cam.
And we will see you guys on the next video.
Yes.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye.